Hi fellow devs, I'm back with a new video. This time we're looking at the problem 605 on LeetCode, can place flowers. This is part of the LeetCode 75 series. So I'm just going to read the question. You have a long flower bed in which some of the plots are planted and some are not. However, flowers cannot be planted in adjacent plots. Given an integer array flower beds containing zeros and ones, where 0 means empty and 1 means not empty, and an integer n return true or false if n new flowers can be planted in the flower bed without violating the no adjacent flowers rule, and false otherwise. So the flower bed is given, so we have 1 0 0 0 1, and then we have been told that we want to plant one flower, so we have to just return true or false. So in this case I can place a flower right in the middle and it won't violate any rules. In the second example we are given two flowers that we want to plant, so if we go through the array we're getting one, and then we can't place a flower over there because it's right next to another one. We can place one over there and we can't place one over there, right? How I'm thinking of dealing with this sort of problem is kind of looking at how many valid plots are available for the plants to be planted and then comparing that to n. So if we have more planted plots, more plots that we can plant on compared to n, then we can just return that. So the idea that we are kind of going with is to check the number of slots that are available and comparing that with n. So we can just declare a new variable called plots available. We can start with that equal to 0, and what we want to return is if plots available is greater than or equal to n. So now we can just start kind of looping through the whole array. So let I equals to 0, I less than flower bed dot length, and I plus plus. So let's see, when are we interested in checking whether there is a slot available to the left or the right, right? The first thing that we probably want to check is if the current slot that we are in is empty or not. So we can check if flower bed I is equal to 0, then we want to do some stuff, otherwise we kind of just ignore it and go to the next one. So we want to check is if there is a slot to the left available and there is a slot to the right available. So if we look at what constitutes to the left slot being available, if we are on the first iteration where we are on I equals to 0, right, then in that case we don't really care about the left slot because there is nothing to the left, right? So we can create a new boolean field over here. So const is left empty, right? And if I equals to 0, right, then we want to say true, right? Or if I minus 1, so if I is over here, right, and then we are looking at the left slot, if I minus 1 is also equal to 0, then we want to return true, right? So we can say that if I equals to 0 or flower bed I minus 1 is equal to 0. So in these two scenarios we want is left empty to be true, right? And what about the right slot? So is right empty. So we want to check if right is not out of bounds. So the first thing that we would do is probably check if I is falling within the flower bed's limit. So on the right hand side, if we're on the on the rightmost plot, which is the end of the array, right, then in that case the only thing that we care about is the current plot empty, which we're getting with this if statement. And then we just want to make sure that if it's the last plot, right, so if I is equal to flower bed dot length minus 1, right, or we want to check if the next slot is empty. So if flower bed dot I plus 1 is equal to 0, right? So if both of these cases are valid, if is left empty and is right empty, then the first thing that we want to do is we want to, if we know that left and right are both empty, that means that the current flower bed position is valid, so we can plant something on it. So we're going to go ahead and plant something on it. In this case it will just be 1, right, and we will also increment our plots available by 1, right? So now just going through the logic, walking through the logic once, we have the number of slots available, which is 0 in the beginning, right? Then we iterate through the array, we check if the current position that we are at is empty, right? If it's empty, then we are checking, is there something to the left? If there is an empty slot towards the left, and if there is an empty slot towards the right, then we are planting our new seedling, and we are incrementing the number of plots available. So with that should probably work. Let's try it. Yeah. Awesome. So that works. Thank you guys for watching this video, and thank you so much for the support that I have been giving this series, and hope to catch you in the next one. Cheers.